Spectacular throned immortal Aphrodite, mischievous child of Zeus, I beg you, queen of love, break not my heart with pain, but come here. If ever before you heard my distant voice and felt my love, left your father's golden house and came, yoked your chariot, birds with pretty wings, quick sparrows, brought you to the black earth, down from the sky, through midair and soon arrived, and you, blessed one, a gentle smile upon your deathless face, asked what has happened to me this time, why am I calling out this time, and what crazy wish now has my heart? Who should I entice this time to find her way into your arms? Who torments you now, Sappho? I bet if she flees, she'll soon pursue. If she refuses gifts, she'll soon be giving too. If she does not love you, soon she will, even if she wasn't looking to. Come to me now. Free me from my crushing wants. All I wish for, make it happen. And in battle, you be my ally. So that was Sappho's Ode to Aphrodite, as variously compiled or kind of translated by me for this video essay on the main channel that you can watch here. I don't know any ancient Greek, so my quote-unquote translation of it was more so a combination of various English versions. But I chose to memorize this poem partly because I already knew it pretty well given the time I put in, whatever, a year ago or maybe a little more than that to make that video, but also because I thought it was a really, really beautiful poem that I thought was worth committing to memory. So in this video, I'm just going to basically fully teach you guys about this poem, and if you would like to follow along with me and memorize it yourself, you're more than welcome to do that. I'll be reciting it as well as a couple different versions of it throughout this video, and I'm also going to try to break down the meaning and the context of it such that hopefully it'll be a little easier to memorize because you'll have like a context for what's actually happening in the poem. So when you're memorizing specific lines, it's like for a purpose. And if you do want to take it seriously to memorizing, all you have to do is basically write it down, recite it out loud, read it out loud based on your written version of it, and then see how much you can recite without looking at the text. And or probably do both of these maybe once a day. Write down the poem from memory and see how far you can get, and then you can compare it with the original version. And basically through repeating that, it will take less than a week for you to fully memorize the poem. That recitation, I haven't practiced it very much at all in the past week. It was a week or two ago that I committed it to memory, and I think unless I completely just don't think about it, it's probably going to be there or be very easy to recover for a very, very long time, just from a week of taking 5 minutes to write it down, recite it here and there. So it shouldn't be very difficult. Now, as for the poem itself, Sappho's Ode to Aphrodite, as I said, my rendition of it there is a combination of a few different translations. I actually have a post on Substack that I'll link below where I explain the rationale behind my translation. That's also where you can find the written version of my version of this poem if you would like to try and memorize that one specifically. But of course, you can always, Google Sappho's Ode to Aphrodite, and there'll be many different translations that come up. Today we're going to look at the Anne Carson translation as well. And so to kind of get at the essence of what this poem is, I talk about it a little bit in that video essay on the main channel, on the essay channel, Nate Dansereau Essays. What is it called? Sappho, the first sensitive person, something like that. But basically, the Ode to Aphrodite is a conventional style of poem that many poets, I'm assuming many poets, wrote various versions of this same motif, this same theme, as a religious invocation of this goddess Aphrodite to intercede for the speaker or the poet for various religious reasons. And here I have with me a copy of the Homeric hymns, and in this Penguin edition of the Homeric hymns there are, I'm seeing 3 different hymns to Aphrodite. And these are not Sappho's hymns to Aphrodite. These would have been Homer's or Homeric hymns to Aphrodite. And like I said, there's a few different ones here. The first one's pretty long. I don't think we'll, just because it's several pages long, I don't think we'll read that one. But I do have a slightly shorter one here that's actually about the same length as Sappho's Ode to Aphrodite, or it could also be called Hymn to Aphrodite, I think. I guess I'd have to double check the original Greek titles, but I hope this will give us just a bit of a context for what the convention of a hymn to Aphrodite would have been, and then we can look at Sappho's again and look at the specific ways that she, the specific spin that she put on this theme, the Ode to Aphrodite. So again, this is a Penguin translation of the Homeric hymns. It's numbered as the 6th hymn in this edition, and it goes like this. Reverend, golden-crowned, beautiful Aphrodite, I shall sing. She who possesses the heights of all sea-wet Cyprus, where Zephyros swept her with his moist breath over the waves of the roaring sea in soft foam. In their diadems of gold, the hours joyously received her and wrapped ambrosial garments around her. On her immortal head they laid a crown of gold that was wonderfully made, and in the pierced lobes of her ears they hung flowers of copper from the mountains and precious gold. Round her delicate throat and silvery breasts they fastened necklaces of gold, which they, the gold-filleted hours, wear themselves when they go to the lovely dances of the gods in their father's house. And then, when they had arranged all these decorations on her body, they led her to the immortal gods, who saw her and welcomed her, and reached out their hands towards her, longing, every one of them, to take her home to be his lawful wife. And so enraptured were they all with the beauty of the Cytherean, I'm not sure, in her crown of violets. Farewell, quick glancing, honey-sweet goddess. Grant me victory in this contest. Favor my song. And now I shall remember you in another song too. So I just want to highlight how many similar motifs from in this hymn to Aphrodite that we have, that we also find in Sappho's. So first of all, the first line, Reverend, golden-crowned, beautiful Aphrodite, very nearly mirrors spectacular-throned, immortal Aphrodite, the beginning lines of Sappho's poem. Here it's talking about her crown. In Sappho's poem it's talking about her throne. There's a mention of her father's house, of Zeus's house. That's a very minor point. They aren't really talked about in the same way, but this does make me think that placing Aphrodite in the greater context of her pantheon, probably part of the convention there. And towards the end of the poem, Aphrodite is the goddess of love, and we have in this case, I guess, various of the immortal gods wanting to be Aphrodite's lover. And in Sappho's poem, it's Sappho wanting to be some unnamed person's, I guess some unnamed woman's lover. So there's a similar theme there, but the Homeric version is not about an interpersonal relationship between mortals. The poet or the speaker isn't really present or mentioned. It's about Aphrodite herself. It actually seems to recount her origin myth, her birth, and then her place in Olympus and how beautiful she is. And then it does end with a similar kind of final stanza to wrap it up. Grant me a victory in this contest, favor my song. I understand this is a Homeric convention. These hymns to the gods end with a request, usually to grant the speaker victory or intercede for them in some way, often in battle, or in this case it appears to be like some kind of poetry contest. In Sappho's poem it literally says, in battle you be my ally, and in that case the battle is kind of being a metaphor for this whatever it might be, conquest of love. I'll also share a second hymn to Aphrodite from the Homeric hymns, just because this one's really short. It's much less than a page long. It says, I shall sing of the Cytherean born in Cyprus, who gives such gentle gifts to mortals. Her lovely face is always smiling, and lovely is the bloom that plays upon it. I greet you, goddess, queen of Salamis with its strong buildings, queen of Cyprus set in the sea. Grant me an enchanting song, and now I shall remember you in another song too. That ended the same way as the first hymn. And yeah, I'm not going to read as closely into that one. It seems to follow a slightly different format, but it constitutes praise for Aphrodite. It tells the speaker about Aphrodite, which island she rules over, and so forth. And I also think it's very delicate and beautiful in its own way. Now I'm going to return to Sappho's Ode to Aphrodite. This time I will read Anne Carson's translation from her collection of Sappho's fragments, If Not, Winter. So hopefully, now that we have all that context, this recitation of Sappho's hymn will resonate with you, and you'll be able to actively engage with what's happening in each stanza, to some degree, hopefully. Okay. Deathless Aphrodite of the spangled mind, child of Zeus who twists lures, I beg you, do not break with hard pains, O lady, my heart, but come here, if ever before you caught my voice far off, and listening left your father's golden house and came, yoking your car, and fine birds brought you, quick sparrows over the black earth, whipping their wings down the sky. Through midair they arrived, but you, blessed one, smiled in your deathless face and asked, now again, what I have suffered and why, now again, I am calling out, and what I want to happen most of all in my crazy heart. Whom should I persuade, now again, to lead you back into her love? Who, O Sappho, is wronging you? For if she flees, soon she will pursue. If she refuses gifts, rather will she give them. If she does not love, soon she will love, even unwilling. Come to me now. Loose me from hard care, and all my heart longs to accomplish. You be my ally. So here, I hope we can start to appreciate some of the innovative beauty of Sappho's poetry. She takes this convention of praising Aphrodite in one of these Homeric hymn style poems. And there's a few things Sappho does. First of all, she puts it in her famous Sapphic meter, so she follows a much more strict and rigorous stanza and metrical structure. At least that's how it appears. The Penguin version of those Homeric hymns seem to have slightly more varied stanzas and rhymes. It didn't follow, it wasn't consistently four quatrains as we have here. And instead of just praising Aphrodite, it does that too. We're kind of invited into this world of what seems to be an ongoing relationship between Sappho and Aphrodite. Apparently a relationship which involves many such invocations where Sappho is asking Aphrodite to intercede for her in her various romantic goals and journeys and relationships. And it's almost played for humor, where we have almost an exasperated response by Aphrodite in the version that I memorized and that I kind of cobbled together with various translations. I tried to emphasize kind of that exasperation. Why are you calling out this time? Who should I entice this time to find her way into your arms? But it doesn't, at least from what I can gather, doesn't for all that really lose any of the gravity and beauty of invoking Aphrodite, this important goddess of love. Still following many of these Homeric conventions, including ending with a specific request, grant me victory, or in this case, you be my ally. And if you've read the Iliad or the Odyssey, that might give you context for how important it is for a god to be on your side and be your ally in a certain conflict. The whole outcome of the Trojan War is basically decided by various gods taking sides and basically interceding for different characters for different reasons. And it seems that Aphrodite is granting Sappho's request in the end, Again, I'll read from the Anne Carson translation. For if she flees, soon she will pursue. If she refuses gifts, rather will she give them. If she does not love, soon she will love, even unwilling. But there is also an element of like, sure, Sappho, I'll get this person to love you, but what's going to happen next week? You're going to be asking me about somebody else. And now you're going to have this poor soul is going to now have a broken heart, right? So in that way, I think it's kind of humorous, but kind of in a very beautiful, very touching and sweet way. So, if you're still listening to this, perhaps you have an interest in memorizing this poem for yourself, having its beautiful ideas kind of built into your neurology, right? And so I'm just going to end this video with one more recitation of the version of the poem that I cobbled together with various translations, the one I used on Substack and in the Sappho video essay. And if you like, you can follow along by writing it down as I speak, or listening to it, reciting it yourself, finding a translation that you like, and committing it to memory. Or if there's a different poem you have in mind that you'd rather memorize, go ahead and write that one down, recite it to yourself a couple of times. If you have suggestions, because I plan on maybe making this a series, I'd like to see how much poetry I can commit to memory. Let me know in the comments. Is there another poem that you would like to see broken down like this, in this much detail? Without further ado, here's that recitation. Spectacular throned, immortal Aphrodite, mischievous child of Zeus, I beg you, queen of love, break not my heart with pain, but come here. If ever before you heard my distant voice and felt my love, left your father's golden house and came, yoked your chariot, birds with pretty wings, quick sparrows, brought you to the black earth, down from the sky, through midair and soon arrived, and you, blessed one, a gentle smile upon your deathless face, ask what has happened to me this time, why am I crying out this time, and what crazy wish now has my heart? Who should I entice this time to find her way into your arms? Who torments you now, Sappho? I bet if she flees, she'll soon pursue. If she refuses gifts, she'll soon be giving too. If she does not love you, soon she will, even if she wasn't looking to. Come to me now, free me from my crushing wants. All I long for, make it happen, and in battle, you be my ally. Thanks for watching to the end. Subscribe for more videos about literature, and I hope you have a wonderful day.